Hey guys, I'm May here. This video is titled, Has Anybody Seen the Bridge? This is about the Sun and now Uranus as of recently in Gemini. And before I speak on that, I would like to reference my latest video, Behind the Wheel, and just say how sweet you all are. And so I found out that not only are there brilliant minds in this little corner of the internet that I have carved out, and despite heavily restricted access on YouTube. So if you have been one of those who stumbled upon my channel, it's no accident at all. It's positively no, without a shadow of a doubt, it's not a coincidence or any irony there, and you are meant to be here on this channel, and we are meant to connect. And that was my entire intention when I started the channel. Not only a place to release excuse me, the messages that I receive, not only a venue in which to release this, but also of high priority is to meet other like minds, the brilliant minded, and it appears that I have, and I'm very fortunate in that. Not only are you amazing minds, but you're also very sweet and tender-hearted, and that is what this little corner of the internet is all about. Not only language and the zodiac and esoteric knowledge, but just about connecting with like minds. We exist in this file-based experience in a very, not only are we conditioned in this current reality to experience a type of isolation which we weren't used to, growing up as kids in a more analog-based field. However, now we are, with all the chronology, right? We are separated even more, and we find out we're separated even double that as we, those of us activating the higher mind, right? That higher outer self, which emanates out of the EYE, that consciousness, that level, that most obviously the backdrop characters and the Ottomans will never experience in their lifetime. We are so fortunate that we are accessing this, and there's no way you could ever listen to what I feel is the higher intellect of consciousness. You could never listen to my channel and connect or even remotely understand any of it if you aren't, to this level. I firmly believe in that. And it's much more than just discussing language. It's real hardcore decodes. Once we realize that language, along with the zodiac, is a type of quantum field-based programming, right? It's a type of high-level programming in this etheric wave-based field in which we reside, right? We've long ago, most of us, at this point, at this stage of the game, long ago, we're beyond that. What would you say? That phase of the rabbit hole. In what's the shape of this world? I would hope most of you are. The biggest once you realize, the biggest realization is not only when you've realized you're in a type of a simulation or assimilation, as I always say, is it's a synergistic relationship. It requires your presence, right? We are the minority, right? It requires your soul presence for this energy etheric system to be experienced. There's no other way. So it requires that energy inside of us, and we are a minority in this experience, along with these backdrop characters. And what I'm getting at is, once you realize that it is a hologram, it is assimilation, and assimilation, and that you are actually part of the hologram, right? And that's what I'm getting at with the shape of this plane. The only shape in this plane is the plane of existence, and it's the plane of experience in a very file computer type electrical type system, right? I mean, we are electrical beings, and that can't be denied. We're surrounded by electricity. We are electricity. We are existing in this etheric field, having at times, if you're ever just blown away by the sheer mystery, just the actual just awe of this existence is mind blowing in and of itself. And how the Ottomans, these are very interesting characters. They're very interesting. Somehow they get up and they go and they go and they go, and they appear to never question the nature of existence, right? They appear to never question the true nature of this existence, or this experienced reality in which we reside, and that is always fascinating and mind blowing to me in and of itself, honestly. So they're very good in their role. They're highly programmed. Then there are those of us, we are unprogrammable, in the sense that the messages we receive, the feelings that we feel intrinsically emanating from the EYE and connecting to a higher source, are not experienced by these backdrop characters, these Ottomans. I usually prefer to say Ottomans over NPC, only as NPC has gotten so mainstream, and let's look at it this way. I don't want to say it's overused, but let's look at it this way. If they are the NPCs, then we are the RPCs, right? But none of it's real anyway, and that includes our own experience. We are orbed into here, and we die out of here only to be recycled back. But the whole thing, if you want to know the truth, is that if you're in a simulation, if you're in a hologram, you're never really born, and you never really die. You do only in the experience of the plane, only in the experience of consciousness, which is the plane of experience, the plane of existence. Which, when you get down to the nuts and the bolts of it, it's not an existence. It's only an experience. But obviously we feel like so much a part of the system, and it feels so real. But I always equate it to the realness of a film reel, right? REEL, if you will. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So to err, ER, when we invert re, is to err, and that is the very human experience. Like, to err is human, right? And so L is God, is L, like as in Israel, right? So the thing is, and you have the energy, right, connecting to the G constellation. You have the energy inside of you. You are the energy. That is the conductor of the field. You are conducting by way of a conduit corded in from a higher system, the cosmos, if you will. And where it gets tricky and hard for the simple-minded to grasp or understand is that the G constellation in the system above us, which is obviously includes the wheel-based zodiac, can't be experienced without the EYE, the zodiac that is the EYE. Your eye is a zodiac, right? So these two can't exist without the other. And then you get into, obviously, the observer mind, and then you can get into slit theory and quantum physics, and there is some elements of truth to that. I do believe a lot of it is obviously hijacked, lower dimensional forces, Vatican based stuff that has altered that. But you can find elements of truth. Elements of truth in this existence are hard to come by and do require a bit of research, and actually it's all inside. In my opinion, it's all inside of the EYE, which is you. You're like, in other words, all that exists outside of you stems from the EYE. So what does that mean to me? That means all of knowledge, or gnosis, if you will, is also inside of the EYE, right? And that can be tapped into by way of the pineal, along with the fornix, the pituitary, and that C-shaped bundle of nerves, all, residing deep inside of the brain. So they say that 10% of the brain is used, right? So, which ironically, the tithing for churches is often 10%. So, no irony there. So, anyway, once we start to activate more of the brain, which the mind is the part of the brain that is outside of you. It's just right outside of you, the wave field, the mind. When we connect the brain and the mind, wow, that is like explosive electric energy. Then your conductor, your conduit, the higher it goes, right, the more messages that you'll receive with your receiver, your antenna, right, the invisible antenna that we all have, right, looks exactly like a spire on a building, a spire on a church. So we all carry this antenna. But the Ottomans, though, appeared to receive their programming from a different constellation. You have to laugh sometimes. It's the ridiculousness. There's probably, for more, I would say Siri, right? Like as in Iris, which we receive as well. We receive the programming. There's no question. But we've got something in our quantum field that somehow bypasses a lot of the standard programming. And we just can't accept it. It's like a computer saying Control Alt Delete, or we just don't accept it. We're overriding the system, and I'm positive at this point the lower dimensional forces are not happy with us, and that's fine. So, okay, the title of this video, has anybody seen the bridge? Let me first say that this is a song. A Led Zeppelin song, The Crunch. This is a series of lyrics, of lines. Has anybody seen the bridge? Is in the song, The Crunch. And he says, has anybody seen the bridge? Where is that confounded bridge? Why does he say, where is that confounded? So when we look at con, C-O-N, you've got C, which is the C for the C-shaped bundle of nerves. And you could say, well, Aimee, what are you saying here? Are you suggesting that the alpha beta system in which we speak, spell, and write, are you suggesting that the symbols from this alpha beta system are actually connected to our brain and body, and could be symbols in our brain and our body? Absolutely, 100%. So is there? Yes, the C-shaped bundle of nerves. That is, I will take that one to the grave and say I believe that is where the C stems from. Chicken or the egg, which came first? I can't comment. Occult knowledge says that the brain came first and then the body emanated. So you can perform lots of gestures with your hands and create letters. They're just symbols. They are letters that tell which is the human, the symbols. It's the symbols. It's symbolism, just like gematria, just like numbers. So anyway, having said that, the C-shaped bundle of nerves on. Well, what is on? If you look at astrotheology or the Bible, you will find that on is a reference to the city of light, Galilee. On is light, the city of light, and that's where God is activated. That's where the energy, right? That's where the God is illuminated, Illuminati. That is on. Okay, and so see on, con. So many of our terminology begins with con, right? Convince, contract, conceive. So I could do a whole video on that and I'll stop there, but the point is this. When Led Zeppelin sings, does anyone see that confounded bridge? The bridge that was found by the con. The C-shaped bundle of nerves, which deep inside of it creates the light which helps or encourages or produces this file-based experience. The C on, con, confounded. So, founded as in the architecture that is often, or the cities that are founded, right? We know that there's a con in that, right? Of course. Do we have a con in our brain? Yes, I can accept that. I absolutely accept that. I absolutely accept that without being triggered. And that's right, the aliens created this robot system. Okay. But it's still part of you. It's still part of consciousness, right? So, has anybody seen the bridge? Has anybody seen the bridge? The bridge is Gemini. Take a close look. Take a close look at the symbol or glyph, if you will, of the house, the sign of Gemini. What does it look like? Doesn't it resemble a bridge? Can you see the bridge? That's the bridge. And there's two lines, right? Which is by no accident. There are two lines, and you also have two shoulders. What does Gemini rule? The shoulders. Not only in your body do you see the zodiac, not only in your body, but you also have the zodiac inside your brain, and you have it in your eye. That's why iridology exists, and it's real, and it's true. So Gemini is also Gem-in-I, right? And when we break apart even more Gemini, we will see, once again, the G, right? So, when we reassemble the letters in Gemini, we can see I am in G. G is the energy, once again, and not to be repetitive, but it's okay. So, it's okay. It helps me to explain. So, once again, explain. No pun there. So, once again, Gemini, right? I am in G. I am in G. And M is M. Say the letter M. It's M. I am. I am. I think, therefore, E-Y-E, am. So, Gemini. I am in G. G constellation. Energy, the G in the brain. So, having said that, if you have a bridge and you have two lines in Gemini, then what's the first thought that occurs to you? What do you think that could mean for you? For you, what does that mean? Well, if the thought is coming to you that the bridge, right, the two lines could symbolize the higher mind and the lower mind, or the subconscious, right, that guy in the boiler room in the basement, and the higher mind, right, because you've got a dual system there. There's a dual system. That's why you have two of everything, right? If you look at Atum, you've also got an inverted M, which is 2. You've got TWO, right? Atu, Atum, Atu. So you are A2. You're a series of 2. You have 2 feet, 2 Pisces. You've got 2 hands. You've got 2 eyes. You've got 2 shoulders. You've got 2 minds. You've got the higher mind. You've got the subconscious, and you've got the higher mind. So the bridge is the bridge revealing to us the 2 layers of the mind. When we reach the house of Gemini, in which the sun is in now, and the sun is that higher minded consciousness, For me, it always is. It's the higher mind. And all that I've researched, all that I know intrinsically, it's the sun is the right side. He sits at the right hand of the Father. All that glitters is gold. The moon is silver. The moon is the left hemisphere of the brain. The moon is the feminine and the sun is the masculine. I am very sun dominant. I'm Leo. I am Leo sun and Leo descendant. Aquarius rising, which if you know anything about Aquarius, that's the Aquarian, right? The knowledgeable, the those that love the books and the readings. That's an air system. And not to get off on that, but here's what I'm getting at. So the sun is the masculine, the moon is the feminine, and what you have is a bridging of the two when we enter Gemini. Your soul-based system, once you are dominated by the sun, you are dominated by higher consciousness. That is fire. That is the ram. That is Aries. That's the top part of your brain, your skull, right? That is Aries. That is the ram, where you hold your ram, your memory. RAM, Mars. Mars is Aries. Rams, okay? Just like a computer system. So that is the fire, and it is the fornix, it is the fire, and water is extremely vital to that. Your brain is what? And I'm just going to go off of RAM memory here. I think it's 70 or 80% water. Water is a huge element and part of that. You can't deny that. However, the fire needs to connect to the air that is outside of you. Well, what is that air? Well, that air, Saturn, Uranus, air. Those systems are air-based systems. And do you need to connect to Saturn and Uranus outside of your sun-based system? Do you need that air to I said air, I just invented a word. So do you need that fire and air to combine, to combust, to explode, right? Right? To have a consciousness-based explosion, you need those systems. But the water is what pushes it. The water is right below, right? That's the pituitary. That's Cancer. That's Pisces. It's the water. So the water is, think of it like the tidal waves, because all it is waves. The moon, the waves, help push forth the fire. The pyramid that is deep inside of your brain. The pyramid. Do you have a pyramid in your brain? Of course you do. Do you have a tomb in your brain? Of course you do. All of these elements are deep inside of the brain. And the earth is analogous to the body. The earth is the body. So that's why E represents electricity and the etheric earth body. Okay? Stay with me. Stay with me. And I know I get off on tangents a little bit here and there, some tangents here or there, but just trust me on this. Fire is what's needed. We're in an air-based system right now, but it's our fire, the sun, that has entered Gemini. Only, what was it? Yesterday, I believe. It was yesterday. Yes. The sun, the fire-based consciousness, has entered into the house of air, Gemini air. So what you have is a combustible experience. We've got an explosion of consciousness. But we've got the moon right there. That is what I refer to as more of the lower mind. Moon is pituitary. Sun is pineal, right? And you've got the struggle in astrotheology. Going off memory here, is it Esau, and Jacob, the struggle at the river, right, over the pineal once he's climbed that 33 levels of stairs, which the Freemasons know very well. The occult knows what the stairs mean, and it's the spinal cord. And so when he climbs that and enters the brain, there's the pineal and there's the pituitary, that is the sun and the moon. And you've got the masculine and the feminine. And as I was saying, that I am very masculine based, as far as it does not have anything to do with gender. I'm very much a female. So it has nothing to do with gender, but it has to do with force. It has to do with force. And ego. There's absolutely ego. And anyone who says the ego is totally separate from the soul, I'm not buying it. No. The soul actually needs the ego to push forth the fire. So, and that's masculine. So, having said that, this is what will raise your consciousness. You've got that sort of struggle. You've got the bridge. You've got the two. You can also see the two as Saturn and the Sun. I mean, they are the twins as well. This is the twins. You are in the air. You are in the house of air in Gemini. I am in G, right? In the two dual A2 system. So we have entered this house, okay, and we've entered. Guess who's in the house, sitting there, quite happy, I'm sure. The father, right? It's the father. It's Uranus. Let's look for a second, just for a moment, since we know Uranus is in Gemini. Let's look at it for just a moment. Let's look at the word Uranus, if you will. You see sun? Do you see sun in Uranus? Yes, of course you do. So do you see Ursa? Yes, you do. Ursa Minor, Ursa Major. And so Ursa Minor and Ursa Major could be considered as twins also. They're not in the G constellation or in the Gemini constellation like Castor and Pollux, but the whole system in the outer space, which reflects the inner space that we are programmed to view through the third eye ventricle by way of the pupils, the whole system is still integrated and still in and of itself all one, and Ursa Major and Minor are to the north. But somehow I'm certain, and they are far out, right? There's certainly a connection with Uranus, as there is with all the constellations and the wandering luminaries, which are, referred to as planets, which aren't really planets, but just electromagnetic energy or waveforms, if you will, in the ether. So, but they're all archetypes and they're gods. And so you have the little starbursts, right, as reflections of them. And so we just get clues into the twin, the twin dual system, which is what is the theme of this video. The purpose of this video is to explain the bridge. And there's a bridge, Castor and Pollux bridge. There's a bridge between good and evil. There's a bridge between the sun and the moon. A bridge between Ursa Minor and Ursa Major. Do you see what I'm getting at? A bridge of the lower mind to the higher mind. That guy in the boiler room, the basement of the mind, which you want to climb the bridge, the stairway to heaven, right? Jacob's ladder, which is the spine, which is also a bridge in the brain. The lower mind, the lower body, is analogous to the lower mind, and you reach the higher mind. You reach the higher mind. You uplift by elevating. You want to climb that bridge, right? You want to climb that bridge of Ursa Minor to Ursa Major, you want to climb that bridge of the pituitary to the pineal, which the pineal is further back. The pineal represents the sun, and the pituitary represents the moon. Okay? We're in a two-based system. I don't think anyone can deny that, right? Of course, there's other elements, many other elements of consciousness, obviously. You've got earth, wind, fire, air. When you break it down, sure, of course. But there's always two. That's why there's the monochromatic floor in the art of the Masonic Lodge and in all the art of the Masons, is the black and white checkerboard floor. Just about, I would say, most movies you will watch, even from the past, will often show the black and white checkerboard floor. There's a reason for that, because it is duality. So what you want is to bridge, to climb that bridge, right, which is also often in the Masonic art as the stairway to heaven, right? and you want to access the right side, sit at the right hand of the Father. It's the right side, as far as I can tell, where the higher consciousness is achieved, where you receive your cosmic downloads. This is the right side. And how do I know that? How can I explain that? How can I convince you, right? Well, here's the thing, and I'll get back to the con in a moment, the C-O-N, the con. Here's the thing, is once you understand the mechanisms of the brain and how they are directly correlated and connected to the outer activation, which emanates right outside of us, that etheric body, like Manly P. Hall refers to, right? Once you realize that there's a connection inside, the con is, as I stated previously in this video, the C-shaped bundle of nerves. The on is the city of light, as in astrotheology, as in the Bible. On, the city of light, the con, housed inside the C-shaped bundle of nerves. And what do you have there? That is, from what I am receiving, that is directly related to the third eye ventricle and the activation, if you will. And what you have then is that when that activation starts bursting and starts tingling and vibrating, right? When you experience this activation, it can only go higher, and it activates higher and higher. That third eye is bust open, okay? That is connected, the third eye ventricle. It is correlated to the pituitary and the pineal, but you want the pineal to serve as the stronger, as the higher mind that is further back from the pituitary. You can goggle that, you can research that, right? You can look it up. No pun intended. Look up. So what I'm getting at is that it's that bridge that you're climbing. It's actually a feeling, like as I even speak now, and as I receive the cosmic messages, which is just a layer of myself, of my observer field, right? My biofield, it's just a layer of myself and consciousness. But as you receive those messages, you feel a sort of, could it be endorphins? It's a tingly. It's absolutely stemming from the right side. It's difficult to articulate in our restrictive 26 character alpha beta system, our alpha beta wave system, right? But that's why I created this video on the bridge, and that's the point of the bridge. Has anybody, that's a body, anybody seen the bridge, in the words of Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, greatest band of all time? There's a reason he's saying that. There is a bridge, and you must climb it, right? And in Gemini, and let me finish that thought. I'm sorry, I do get off on tangents. You do feel a vibration. That's why I believe when the ancients painted, you can see in the paintings of the ancients the golden halo. It's a halo in reverse, in the words of Depeche Mode. It's a halo in reverse. Look at Byzantium, which I did study in college. I consider myself pretty prophetic in this arena. I did study art history, and as an artist myself, and as someone who absolutely can't live without art, like music, right? I can attest to the fact that when I do this research on art and I see these figures with the golden halo, the halo in reverse, I believe that this is enlightenment. This is third eye activation. Guys, I'm telling you, this is so real. So real in the sense of REEL, as I stated before, as we are in a series of frames, right? Negative type, real REEL frames, but it's the realest it gets here, is what I'm getting at, that this experience. You really do feel it like a golden halo in reverse. and it's directly correlated to the third eye activation, which is cannot which is something that cannot be experienced without the fire, the higher mind, pyramid, the fire of the brain. Excuse me, the fire above, inside of the brain, activating the fire outside of the brain, which is the golden halo, right? All that glitters is gold, and it sits at the right side of the Father. And I don't mean to confuse anyone. I do the best I can to articulate this. It can be difficult, as I just said, in the restrictive alpha beta wave system of 26 characters. We're limited. We are limited in the Saturnian based letter system. Of course we are. So it's difficult to convey sometimes, and I'm doing my best. But I actually think if you try to look at it from that perspective, by way, I'm trying to illustrate it with the images of the art, and the, like, just around the head, like the halo in reverse, as I said. It's a vibrational field. That's your etheric body, your biofield. But when you start opening that third eye deep inside of the brain, and it's not on your forehead. That's a whole video. That's just symbolic, is all that is, and it can be confusing. Pineal is not on your forehead. It's deep inside of the brain, and it goes further back. If you're looking face on, further back than the pituitary. There's a reason for that. Just like the sun is further from the moon. How ironic, no irony there, in outer space, isn't it? Right? Right? So that means Uranus, which is a major theme of this video on Gemini, is even farther because he's the father. Oh my God, it's so obvious. So obvious. And so Uranus is the uniserve, the universe is Uranus, and he's in Gemini, and that is air, and that is surrounding you. So what I'm saying to you is that I think that you're going to get some big explosive braingasm, some big explosive toss, if you will, by way of Mercury as well right now, as Mercury is sitting in Gemini, and that is his house. He is on his throne in his house of Gemini. Right, this experience we're having, this phase, this phase of the clock, of the zodiac clock, if you will. We're in the house of Mercury. This is the time for thought. This is the time for deep, big thought, big explosions. So I know I'm feeling it. So I predict that you will too. And when you engage in videos like this, or in research and reading interesting texts, or listening to powerful music, obviously Mozart, Beethoven, I know I do, right? It only encourages the activation and deep meditation, and I always say reverie, like we say in New Orleans, reverie, right? That's deep, deep thought, deep thought. And you're going to be activated, and you will feel it. I have total, I hate the word faith. We're not going to say faith. Where I have total belief that you will. Belief is not good either. Okay, forget it. What I mean is that I know that you will experience it too. You got Mercury, you've got Uranus, you've got the sun happening right now. The sun is at 5 degrees. When I started this video 2 days ago, I think he was at about 3. The sun obviously moves in 30 degrees between houses, right? So he's in there, and Uranus is there. He's sitting kind of fat and happy at 1 degree. He's just gotten to Mercury's house. So, and he's just been visited by the sun, which is just the sun is just an aspect of consciousness. You've got the word sun in the word consciousness. You've got the word sun in the word Uranus. You've got the word sun in Venus, the word sun in Saturn, right? So I will conclude there for now. The theme of this talk I had with you is essentially about the bridging of the boiler room of the basement, the subconscious, the yellow submarine in which we tend to reside in this existence's lower vibrational field, right? The lower dimensions of the mind seem to have pretty good hold. That we could say that's your struggle, your opposition, your nemesis. But so what? You'll go higher. So what? It doesn't matter. That's just an element of you entertaining itself at the end of the day. So with this knowledge, you activate and you'll feel that tingly sensation right around the skull, which is the house of the mechanisms, just like you think, just like a watch, just like a battery, just like a computer, deep inside of the skull, right? Sun and the moon, the inner space, and you've got to climb. You've got to reach the higher mind. And this is helpful right now as Uranus. None of it's bad. It's not bad. It's amazing. It's air, right? Uranus is air, and technology, the chronology, yeah, no, I'm analog. I'm pro analog, obviously. However, we can still use it to our advantage because we're going to receive some magnetic thoughts, some cosmic messages, and that's what we want to explore, and that's what we want to hold on to and activate. And I'll conclude there and more in another video soon to come. Just bear with me because I explained in a previous video how I'd had a little car accident, and no fault of my own. Yeah, so staged car accident at the 333.88 mark of a text. Right. I'm sure it was a coincidence. And so I had a little head wobble. But actually, I'm starting to think maybe this was a good thing. Maybe I've had some amazing cosmic messages. I'm believing that I've got so much coming up. God, it's so much. I'm not using the word content. I refuse. I have so much. I hate modern day jargon and lingo, and the way everybody talks to you like they're asking a question in statements. It's real irritating. So I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say, I've got lots of valuable um, decodes, if you will. This place is a mystery. It's a mystery. There's no denying it. But we can decode by way of the zodiac, by the way of language, by the way of esoteric occult knowledge and ancient texts as well. Right? We can decode this, and I've got some great valuable decodes and information coming up. And I love to see your comments because I think that you all are amazing. I think we found each other for a reason. You are here not by accident, as YouTube has heavily restricted my content, if you will, with the exception of northern Pakistan, which I have developed or amassed a huge following, and I cannot explain this, but I believe it's attributed to the language part of the videos. But hey, that's great. So more in the next one. Love to see your comments and your thoughts, if you will. And see you next time. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.